Welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. So, on this channel, we will be creating projects using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. In our last video, we have created a nav bar for our first website. That's the Albert Einstein website. Now, today, we will be creating the home section of our web page. So, without no further ado, let's get straight into the video. Okay guys, so as you can see on my screen, I've created the home page section behind the scenes. So what I've done is I've created a container. The container is defined by using the section tag, and within the section I added another container that is defined with the div tag. Now within the div tag, I've included the header, the paragraph, and the button that we had before. Now, the second div tag that is within the section tag give it the overlay effect. So as you can see on my screen, there is a picture in the background. On the container, on the second container is the overlay container. All right, so what I'm going to do, let's get back to the code so we can discuss more because since I've already created it, it will make more sense not to create it again, but to walk you through how I've accomplished this. All right, so what I did, I've created a section. So I'm going to create section for each of the menu selection. So I have added some comment here before my section so I can remember that this is the home section. So this is the home section. So that's my home section for my home selection there. And if you look on my screen, you should see the change as it pertains to the menu selection. I had home over here and contact over here, but I switched them around. All right, so home is now there. Okay, all right, so let's go back. All right, so as I said, I've created this section by defining the section tag. So the section is also a container. So within this section container, I've added a image, the same image we had before, using the image tag. All right, so there's an image, and this is indeed our background image. Now I've also added a div, a second container. This is what actually gave it the overlay effect. Now within this container, I've added the h1 tag that we had before. I've changed the text to creative design. I've also added a paragraph tag, added the paragraph tag that we had before, changed the text to your digital innovation wizard. That's what I want to have there. You can put whatever you like for both the heading and the paragraph. Also change the text for the button from click to get started, basically telling the user to click here to get started. All right, so know that we have defined the home section. Let's reason about the styling that I've applied. So first, we're going to start with the section. So I'm going to grab the class that we have here, and then I'm going to go back to our style sheet. Okay, all right. So the class was home container. That's the name of it. All right. So like the usual process, I first added a border here. so I could see what I'm working with. So if you don't remember how to add the border, you have to give it a style. So I've used solid, and then I've give it a color. You can give it any color you want, like this. And then you can erase it once you're done. Set it to the relative position. So it can be relative to its parent element. And then I've gave it a width of 100% so it could fool the container that it is currently in. And then I've gave it some margin top of 50 pixel. So I'll take 50 pixel from the top. So if you should look, let's get back here. So if you should look, remember that this is a as I said before, the nav bar is in a fixed position. So because it is in a fixed position, I will say it's not really in the normal flow. So all of the element that is currently in the flow is gonna go behind it. So in order to push this container forward, I had to give it some margin from the top, and that's 50 pixels. So let's get back to the code. Good. All right. So the second thing that I've done, I've added a container with the ID of overlay to give it the overlay effect. So go back. So here's the ID overlay. Now I've also gave it a position of absolute, so it's not in the normal flow. So I gave it that position in order for it to have the overlay effect. So I then gave it 0 at the bottom. Also gave it a background color of black, gray, red, green, blue. That's a shade that I took. And also there, this is a black see-through shade that I took as well. Um, the color, I also gave it a color. If you look on my screen, you will see the color code in hexadecimal, so you can take it off. I also gave it a width of 100%, and the opacity is 1. And then I gave it a color of white, and all of the elements that is within this container, I made them um, to be aligned in the center of the container. And then I added some padding as well, just to adjust the elements that is in the container. So let's go back to the code, sorry, the GUI, the website. Yeah, so this is what I actually did. So if you can see on my screen, so I've gave it some padding. Gave it some padding, especially at the top, the bottom. So it will stay in the box basically. Also center them. So if you look, you can see that they're currently at the center of the page. And for the overlay effect, as you can see, I've gave it shades of black and gray. So let's get back to the code. All right, and what I did, I then styled the button. So I gave the button an ID of BTN, and then I applied some style. I gave it some paddings. I switched the color to orange red. Um, I then switch the background color to orange red and the color that's the text to white, and the border I've set it to none. I've removed the border. Um, Also, I've gave it a width of 30%. I also set the width transition. So I set it, and then I've give it like 1 second before it for the transition. Sorry, and then I've gave the letter some spacing, 2 pixels. So for the transition, as you can see down here, the width is 40%. So whenever I hover it, it will stretch to 40%. And when I leave it, it will go back to the normal size, which is 30%. I've also added other over effect. So the static color right now is orange red. When you hover over it, it turns red. I also set the cursor to pointer. So basically, that's what I did. It's super easy. You can take the scroll down if you want to. Coming up in future videos, I'll be creating another section of the page until I am finished. So that's the code. So I'll be looking forward to see you in the next video. So peace out, and I hope you already subscribe and like my videos. So enjoy. Peace out.